why I can speak 3 languages. Hello, this is Rachel, and this is the story of the languages that I know and how I kept them. Part 1. French and Persian. As I said in my wannabe artist video, I was born in Iran, but right before the talkative time, we moved to France, and me and my sister suddenly stopped talking for about 6 months. We were in a new environment, and as kids, we simply wanted to play and didn't do much talking. After that 6 months, we suddenly started talking French, at school and at home. But since my parents' language was not that good, they had to follow us with a dictionary in hand. My poor dad, when he first came to France, he thought that since his English was okay, he could learn French just like that. But his first impression was kinda like this.
The language is like a bunch of horses talking.
We all love the French language now, and when we hear it, it's like an angel is speaking to our ears. The whole time that we were in France, we would have a French-Persian conversation with our parents, and whenever we had guests, we had to do some translation since speaking Persian was difficult for me and my sister. I was 9 when we came back to Iran, and unfortunately, we were kinda clueless about Persian language. I have to emphasize that the Persian language is a poetry and expressive language, and not really like any other language. The most famous poets, like Hafiz Shirazi, Sa'di, and Ferdowsi, are Iranian, and many people in Iran use their poetry and other difficult expression in their daily talk. I'm not talking about slangs. You need to know English slangs to live in an English-speaking country. You don't need that in Iran. However, you will need to understand flowery talk in order to live here. Kids have more than 1 literature book per year, and even though my parents did help us pass the Persian test in France, but it was not as effective as it should have been. The only good news was that we went into a family school, meaning my aunt was the director of the school, and they were easy on us. It took my sister and I about 2 years to be able to speak Persian without anybody laughing at us. Then one day, after some times, my parents had some French guests coming over, and they decided to do a little bit of practice before they came. And this is how it went. Bonjour. 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 So my dad was mad, sad, and frustrated all at the same time. He completely forgot that if you don't speak a language, you forget it. Since he had to go to France for some extra studies and my mom had her thesis in French, they were in practice mode all along. And there he was, a proud dad thinking his daughters could speak another language. Well, not anymore. So we decided to get a satellite receiver with 1 year of all French channel subscription on it. You might ask, isn't this illegal in Iran? And yes, this kind of stuff is very illegal in Iran, but not hard to get, and almost all households have one. We started to watch manga like Dragon Ball Z and American series like Friends and Desperate Housewives dubbed in French. But after a while, my dad, still not satisfied, told us, "Don't think you know French. You are like an old lady who can simply talk and listen." And he was kinda right, so he also put me and my sister in a French language class so we could resume writing and reading in French. Storybooks, movies, mangas, animation, magazines, all sorts of media were available in French in our house. And because we were so exposed to the French language, not only we got fluent en français again, but also it became unforgettable. So please, if you are raising your children with several languages, keep in mind that if you don't enforce it or give them enough exposure to that language, they will forget it. Learning a language as a kid is easier and faster and will stay gravé dans leur mémoire if you help them keep it. Otherwise, they would always say, "I used to speak in French when I was a kid, but now I can barely say a word." Maman, Papa, c'est grâce à vous that we can enjoy the French language. We can always travel to this world by just listening to a piece of French music, and all the good memories of childhood would rush into our souls. Je vous remercie du fond du cœur.